I cried in a salon chair once, looking at a pixie cut I begged for, wondering why I looked harder, not younger. Nobody warned me that a pixie cut can either take 10 years off your face or add them, depending on 7 choices most stylists never explain. If you're over 60 and thinking about going short, or you already did and something feels off, this is everything I wish someone had told me before I sat in that chair. We're covering the 7 mistakes that quietly age a pixie cut, and exactly what to ask for instead. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results, fast, not guesswork. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, because I cover this every single week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Mistake 1. The uniform all-one-length cut. Here's something most stylists won't say out loud. The shorter the cut, the more naked your face looks, and after 60, your face has earned texture that deserves a frame, not a spotlight with nowhere to hide. Mistake number 1 is cutting a pixie too short all over, the same length on the crown, the sides, and the back, like you're playing it safe by keeping everything even. You've seen this cut. You might be wearing this cut right now. It feels tidy, it feels low maintenance, and that's exactly the trap. When hair sits at one uniform short length all over the head, it removes every bit of softness around your face. There's no transition, no movement, nothing to break up the sharp line where hair meets skin. Your bone structure is beautiful, but skin changes after 60. It softens, it shifts, gravity does what gravity does, and a flat, even pixie puts all of that on display with zero buffer. Stylists default to this because it's the fastest cut to execute and the easiest to maintain, not because it's the most flattering. Fast for them isn't the same as good for you. The fix is longer layers concentrated specifically around the face, while the back and sides stay genuinely short and tight. You want at least 1.5 inches of length framing your cheekbones and jaw, tapering down to almost nothing at the nape. Ask your stylist for this exact phrase. Keep the perimeter tight, but leave face framing layers long enough to soften my jawline. Say it exactly like that, because longer on top gets interpreted 100 different ways, and most of them aren't what you want. I think about a woman named Carol who wrote to me after years of the same flat pixie. The kind she'd gotten every 6 weeks since her 50s because it was simple and she trusted her stylist completely. She finally brought in a photo with the exact phrase above written on a sticky note. Her stylist paused, looked at the photo and said, "Oh, I've just never had anyone ask for it this specifically." That's the part that gets me. Most women aren't getting bad haircuts because their stylist lacks skill. They're getting generic haircuts because nobody ever handed them the exact words that change what the stylist's scissors actually do. Here's what actually happens when you make this swap. The longer pieces catch the light differently than the short underlayers, which creates dimension your eye reads as movement, even when your hair is sitting still. That movement is what people clock as youthful, before they even register why. Nobody looks at a great pixie and thinks the layers are well distributed. They just think she looks amazing, and the layering is doing invisible work to get them there. This is the real secret behind every great pixie you've ever envied. It's never one length, not once, not ever. And here's the part that actually matters in real life, not just in a salon mirror. When the layers around your face move, people read your expression more easily, because there isn't a flat wall of hair competing with your eyes for attention. Carol told me the first comment she got after her recut wasn't about her hair at all. A coworker said she looked rested. That's the snapback. The cut doesn't just change your reflection. It changes how easily people read warmth and energy on your face. And that's worth more than any compliment aimed at the hair itself. There's a maintenance side to this too. Ask for the face framing layers to be cut on a slight diagonal, angled toward your chin rather than straight across. A straight horizontal line at cheekbone height can visually widen the face, while a diagonal line draws the eye downward and slims it. Most women never hear this distinction, and it's the difference between a cut that flatters and one that just sits there. This also changes how you style it on an ordinary Tuesday morning, not just the day you leave the salon. A uniform pixie has to be reset every single day, because there's no length to work with, no piece to tuck or shift depending on how your face looks that morning. Longer face framing pieces give you options. You can angle them more toward your cheek on a day you want softness, or sweep them slightly back when you want something crisper. That flexibility is something a one-length cut can never give you, no matter how skilled the person holding the scissors happens to be. So here's the swap. Before, a uniform, all-one-length pixie that exposes every inch of bare skin around your face with nothing to soften it. After, tight, short sides and back, paired with longer, diagonal face framing layers that bring movement and a gentler line to your jaw. Same amount of hair removed at the salon. Completely different woman walking out the door. Now, mistake number 2 is one almost nobody asks their stylist about, and it has nothing to do with length at all. It's about something that happens in the first 10 seconds after you sit down in the chair, and it's quietly wrecking pixie cuts everywhere. Mistakes 2 and 3. Wrong product for fine hair plus blunt fringe fighting face shape. Mistake number 2 happens before you even leave the salon parking lot, and it's this: using heavy matte styling product on fine, thinning hair because someone told you it gives more texture. If your hair has thinned even slightly since your 40s, which is true for most of us, a thick paste or heavy clay does the opposite of what you want. It sits on the strand instead of lifting it, weighs the whole section down toward your scalp, and what was meant to look textured ends up looking flat and a little greasy by noon. Here's why this happens. Fine hair has a smaller diameter per strand, so it physically cannot support the same weight of product that thicker hair can. A pea-sized amount of heavy paste that looks perfect on someone with coarse, dense hair can completely collapse a fine pixie within an hour. You're not using the product wrong. The product is wrong for your hair, and almost nobody at the product counter tells you that distinction. They're selling what's popular, not what matches your strand type. The fix is switching to a lightweight, dry texturizing spray applied to dry hair, not a paste or cream applied to wet hair. Ask for this by name. A volumizing dry texture spray. Sprayed 2 to 3 inches from the roots while you tip your head forward, then scrunch gently with your fingertips, never combed through. The dry formula coats the strand without weighing it down, and spraying it upside down means gravity is working with you instead of against you the moment you flip back up. The difference this makes is almost shocking the first time you see it. Hair that looked thin and flat by 10 in the morning now holds shape through dinner, because the product is doing structural work at the root instead of sitting heavy on top of strands that can't carry it. People stop saying, "Did you get a haircut?" and start saying, "You look so put together," which is the compliment that actually matters because it means the change reads as effortless rather than engineered. There's a small ritual shift here too. Apply this spray right after towel drying, before any blow drying starts, so the texture builds in as you dry rather than getting added on top of already set hair. If you currently apply product after styling is finished, as most of us were taught decades ago, this single change in sequence will do more for a fine pixie than almost anything else on this list. So the swap here is simple. Before, heavy paste or clay applied to dry, already styled hair, leaving it flat and slightly weighed down by afternoon. After, lightweight dry texture spray applied at the root right after towel drying, scrunched and upside down, holding real volume for hours. Small swap, completely different hair by the end of the day. Mistake number 3 lives in a totally different part of the cut, and it's one that has nothing to do with product at all. It's about a single line on your forehead that most stylists cut without ever asking what shape your face actually is. This is the one I see most often, and it breaks my heart a little every time. A hard, blunt, straight across fringe cut at the exact same length regardless of whether a woman has a round face, a long face, or a square jaw. A blunt fringe is dramatic and graphic, which works beautifully on some face shapes and works against almost every other shape, especially as the face softens with age and a hard horizontal line stops doing what it once did. A straight blunt line across the forehead draws a hard horizontal boundary, and horizontal lines visually widen whatever they cross. On a round or square face, that's the opposite of what you want, because it emphasizes width exactly where you'd rather create the illusion of length. The cut isn't wrong because it's unflattering on everyone. It's wrong because it was never matched to your specific bone structure in the first place. The fix is asking for a soft, side-swept fringe with a diagonal edge rather than a blunt horizontal one, with the longest point reaching toward your cheekbone rather than stopping flat at your brow. Use this exact phrase with your stylist. Point cut the fringe on a diagonal, longer toward the side, nothing blunt across the front. Point cutting, where the stylist cuts into the ends at an angle rather than straight across, removes the hard line entirely and replaces it with something feathered and soft. What changes once this is done is genuinely dramatic. A diagonal fringe creates a visual diagonal line moving down and across the face, which the eye reads as elongating rather than widening. Women tell me this single change is the one that finally made their pixie feel like their haircut instead of a haircut they were talked into. It stops looking like a style choice imposed from outside and starts looking like it was built around the specific shape of your face. Before, a hard, blunt fringe cut straight across the forehead at one uniform length, regardless of face shape. After, a soft, diagonal, point-cut fringe sweeping toward the cheekbone, built to elongate rather than widen. That one line across your forehead is doing more work than almost any other single cut decision in the whole haircut. Up next is a mistake that has nothing to do with the cut itself, and everything to do with a question almost no one thinks to ask before they ever sit down in the chair. Mistake 4. Ignoring your natural growth pattern. Most women have no idea their scalp has a growth pattern that's been quietly fighting their haircut for years, until someone finally points it out. Mistake number 4 is letting a stylist cut a trendy pixie shape onto your head without ever checking which direction your hair naturally grows, especially around the crown and the hairline. You can have the most fashionable pixie in the magazine, and it will fight you every single morning if it was cut against your natural growth pattern instead of with it. Here's the recognition moment. If you've ever stood in front of the mirror at 7 in the morning, spraying and respraying the same stubborn piece near your crown that simply will not lie down the way it did in the salon, that's not a styling failure on your part. That's a cut that ignored your cowlick. Almost every head has at least one spot, usually at the crown or along the front hairline, where hair grows in a spiral or a strong directional sweep instead of straight down. A stylist who doesn't check for this before cutting is setting you up to fight your own scalp every day for the next 6 weeks. This is worse with a pixie than with longer styles, and there's a reason for that. Longer hair has weight, and weight is what holds a piece down even when the growth pattern underneath wants to push it somewhere else. The moment you cut hair short, you remove that weight, and suddenly every quirk in your growth pattern that used to get smoothed out by sheer length has nothing left to disguise it. That's why so many women say their hair got difficult the same year they went short, when really, the cowlick was always there. It just used to be heavy enough to behave. The mechanism here is simple once you see it. Hair follows the direction it grows from the root, no matter how it's cut at the ends. If the cut shape assumes hair will lie flat in one direction, but the growth pattern at that spot pushes it a different way, you get a piece that springs up, a section that won't blend, or a part that drifts no matter how much product you use. The haircut and your actual scalp are working against each other, and no amount of styling skill in the world fixes a structural mismatch like that. The fix is asking your stylist to check your growth pattern, specifically at the crown and hairline, before a single cut is made, and to shape the pixie with that pattern rather than against it. Use this exact phrase. Check my crown and hairline growth pattern first, and cut the shape to work with it, not against it. A skilled stylist will actually wet your hair, watch how it falls naturally, and adjust the cut lines at exactly those spots, sometimes leaving a touch more length right where the cowlick lies so it has enough weight to lie down instead of springing up. What changes once this is addressed is almost unbelievable to women who've never had it done properly. The cut that used to need 15 minutes of fighting every morning suddenly needs 3. You stop dreading your hair the moment you wake up, because it's finally behaving the way it looks in the mirror right after a wash, instead of reverting the second you walk out the door. I've had women tell me they nearly cried the first time their hair just sat there, cooperating, after years of believing they simply had difficult hair. They didn't have difficult hair. They had a cut that was never built around the hair they actually have. There's a quiet confidence that comes with this too, one that has nothing to do with vanity. When you're not spending the first 20 minutes of your day in a small battle with a cowlick, you walk into the rest of your morning calmer. That sounds small until you've lived the alternative for years, checking the mirror in every reflective surface you pass, wondering if that one piece sprang back up again. You stop touching your hair every few minutes without realizing you're doing it, that small nervous habit that comes from not trusting a cut to hold its shape. People notice that stillness in you before they ever consciously notice the hair itself. So here's the swap. Before, a fashionable pixie-shaped cut without ever checking the crown or hairline growth pattern, leaving you fighting a spring back piece every single morning. After, the same fashionable shape, adjusted at the exact points where your hair naturally grows differently, so it lies down and stays there with almost no daily effort. The haircut didn't get simpler. It got smarter about the head it's actually sitting on. Mistake number 5 is one that has nothing to do with the cut at all, and it's hiding in a bottle most of us reach for without thinking twice. Mistakes 5 and 6. Wrong shampoo for fine hair plus overdue trims. Mistake number 5 is hiding in plain sight, in a bottle most of us reach for out of pure habit. Using a heavy, moisturizing shampoo meant for thick or coarse hair on a fine pixie that needs the exact opposite. Most moisturizing or smoothing shampoo formulas contain heavier conditioning agents designed to coat thicker strands. On fine hair, those same agents build up at the root within a day or two, leaving the cut looking deflated no matter how carefully it was styled that morning. This one is sneaky because it feels responsible. You're told dry, mature hair needs more moisture, so you reach for the richest formula on the shelf, assuming more care equals more shine and more health. But richness and weight are not the same thing as health, and a fine pixie genuinely cannot afford the weight, even when the moisture itself is welcome. The result is hair that looks shiny in the bottle's marketing photo and flat on your actual head by early afternoon. 2 days in a row, no matter how much you adjust your styling routine around it. It's worth saying plainly that this isn't about buying a cheaper product or a more expensive one. Price has almost nothing to do with this distinction. A $60 moisturizing shampoo and a $6 moisturizing shampoo will both weigh down fine hair in roughly the same way, because the issue is the formula category, not the brand or the cost. Women spend years chasing a better, pricier bottle, when the actual fix was sitting 2 shelves over the entire time, in a formula built for an entirely different hair type than theirs. The fix is switching to a lightweight, volumizing shampoo specifically formulated for fine or thinning hair, and saving the richer, more moisturizing formula for a once-weekly deep conditioning treatment instead of daily use. Ask for this distinction by name at the salon or the drugstore. A volumizing shampoo for fine hair, not a moisturizing or smoothing one. Those two categories sit right next to each other on the shelf, and the difference in the ingredient list is the difference between a pixie that holds shape and one that collapses by noon. The change this creates is immediate, often within the very first wash. Hair that's been flat for months suddenly has lift at the root again, because the daily product going onto the strand isn't fighting against the volume the cut was designed to create. Several women have told me they assumed their pixie had simply stopped working for their hair as they got older, when really, a shampoo swap was the entire fix the whole time. Nothing about their hair had changed. The bottle in the shower had. Before, a rich, moisturizing shampoo used daily, leaving fine hair flat and weighed down by midday. After, a lightweight volumizing formula for daily use, with the richer treatment reserved for once a week, holding real lift at the root all day long. Mistake number 6 is the quiet one, the one that creeps in slowly enough that most women don't notice it's happening until a friend says something. It's letting a pixie grow out 2, 3, even 4 weeks past when it actually needs a trim, because the calendar says 6 weeks even when your hair clearly says otherwise. A pixie cut relies entirely on its shape to do the flattering work. The moment it grows even slightly past that shape, the proportions shift just enough that the whole effect softens into something that reads as unintentional rather than styled. It doesn't look like a longer pixie. It looks like a pixie that's overdue, and there's a real visual difference between the two that people register even if they can't name what they're seeing. Here's why the timing matters more on a pixie than on any longer cut. Long hair can grow 2 inches and barely change its overall silhouette. A pixie growing the same 2 inches changes its entire proportion, because there's so little length to begin with that every fraction of an inch is a meaningful percentage of the whole cut. What feels like just a little growth, to you is actually a real structural shift to anyone looking at your face. The fix is moving to a 4-week trim schedule instead of 6, specifically for the face framing pieces and the nape, even if you don't need a full restyle every time. Tell your stylist, I just need a 4-week shape refresh on the face framing pieces and the nape, not a full cut. Many salons offer a shorter, less expensive express trim for exactly this purpose, and it keeps the cut looking deliberate the entire time between full appointments. Before, letting 6 full weeks pass with no trim, watching the shape soften and blur until it stops looking intentional. After, a quick 4-week shape refresh that keeps every line crisp, so the cut always looks like a choice, never an accident of timing. The 7th and final mistake is the one that ties every other mistake on this list together, and it's the one I want you to remember longest. Mistake 7. Copying a cut that wasn't built for your face. Here's a fact that surprises almost every woman I tell it to. The single biggest predictor of whether a pixie cut will age you or take years off your face has nothing to do with the cut itself. It's whether the cut was chosen for your actual features or chosen because it looked stunning on someone else's. Mistake number 7, the one that quietly undoes every other fix on this list, is walking into the salon with a photo of a celebrity or an influencer and asking for this, without ever asking whether that exact shape was built for a face like yours. You've done this. Most of us have. You see a gorgeous pixie on a woman with a long, narrow face and high, dramatic cheekbones, and something in you says, "That's the one, I want that." The cut isn't the problem. The assumption that the same shape will read the same way on different bone structure is the problem. And it's the single most common reason women leave the salon feeling like the cut just isn't them, even when the stylist executed it perfectly. A woman named Diane told me about bringing in a photo of a pixie she'd admired for 2 years, finally working up the nerve to get it done for her 65th birthday. She left the salon and cried in her car, not because the cut was badly done, but because she looked in the mirror and saw someone else's haircut sitting on her own face. The stylist had executed the photo perfectly. The photo had simply never belonged to her bone structure in the first place. She went back 6 weeks later and asked for something built around her own face instead, and that's the cut she's worn happily for 3 years since. Here's the mechanism nobody explains. Every pixie shape is built around a specific relationship between length, volume placement, and the proportions of a face, and those proportions are different for every single one of us. A short, cropped pixie that elongates a long face will visually shorten and round out a face that's already rounder, simply because the same volume placement interacts differently with different bone structure. The stylist isn't failing you by copying the photo accurately. The photo was simply never a map of your face to begin with. Think of it this way. A pixie with extreme height at the crown elongates a round or square face beautifully, because the vertical line counters the width of the jaw and cheek. That same height, placed on a face that's already long and narrow, stretches it further, pulling the proportions out of balance in the opposite direction. The exact cut that rescues one face shape can quietly work against another, and the only difference between the two outcomes is the bone structure underneath, never the skill of the person holding the scissors. The fix is bringing in 3 to 5 reference photos of women with a similar face shape to yours, not just whichever photo you found most beautiful, and saying this exact sentence to your stylist. Build a pixie around my actual face shape, using these as a feel for the energy, not a blueprint to copy. This single shift from copy this to build for my shape is the difference between a cut that gets compliments in the mirror and one that gets compliments from everyone who sees you in person. The result of getting this right is almost impossible to overstate. When a cut is built around your actual bone structure, every other choice on this list, the face framing layers, the fringe angle, the growth pattern, the trim schedule, finally has something coherent to work with. The cut stops being a style you're wearing and starts being a frame that was built specifically around you. That's the moment women tell me they stopped thinking about their hair every time they passed a mirror, because for the first time, what they saw matched what they expected to see. There's a deeper layer to this too. A cut chosen for someone else's face often requires constant small corrections to make it sit right on yours. The extra 5 minutes of styling, the product compensating for proportions that were never quite matched. A cut built for your actual face needs almost none of that, because it was never fighting your bone structure in the first place. The ease you feel every morning is the proof that the foundational choice was right. So here's the final swap, and it's the one that makes every other swap on this list actually work. Before, choosing a pixie shape because it looked beautiful on someone else's face, then spending weeks correcting it to sit right on yours. After, choosing a pixie shape built around your specific bone structure from the very first conversation with your stylist, So every layer, every angle, and every line is already working in your favor before you ever sit in the chair. You now know all 7. The uniform cut that exposes too much, the heavy product weighing fine hair down, the blunt fringe fighting your face shape, the growth pattern nobody checked, the wrong shampoo flattening your root, the overdue trim blurring your lines, and the borrowed shape that was never built for your face. That's more than most women learn in a decade of haircuts, and you just learned it in one sitting. Walk into your next appointment asking the right questions, not just hoping the scissors land somewhere flattering. Tell me in the comments which of these 7 your current cut is making, because I read every single one. Next week, I'm covering the exact words to use with your colorist if your gray is coming in patchy instead of even. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.